Parasect is pretty much known as the zombie Pokemon, as multiple Pokédex entries declare that the mushroom on its back controls the body. But other than that, how fast can Parasect be Pokemon Yellow after intense routing and grinding? This video will be me going over my race submission for Scott's Thoughts Parasect race. If you haven't watched the run, I really recommend you do. I participated in the last race he did with Porygon. This run was definitely a lot more interesting. Parasect has a base stat total of 345, with a nice 95 attack, a decent 80 defense and 80 special. However, our worst stat is our 30 speed, so almost everything will outspeed us. Plus, what makes this worse is that in Gen 1, the bug and grass type had 3 4x weaknesses: fire, flying, and poison. In Gen 1, bug was weak to poison. This was turned into a neutrality in Gen 2. You may think that this Pokemon will just suck, but look at the moveset. We get access to Spore, the best sleep move in Pokemon, with 100% accuracy, along with Growth to raise our special by 1 stage, as well as the TM for Swords Dance to boost our attack by 2 stages. Not only our attack and special are the best stats to raise, it can also activate our badge boost glitch to raise our other stats. But for now, let's get into my run. This run was done on 4x speed for the race, so this Pokemon will get a redo stream on 3x speed, but that's not important right now. On the first rival battle, the Eevee can be a difficult foe to lower our defense with Tail Whip, and then attacking us with the same type attack bonus move of Tackle. But thankfully, Parasect has quite good defense, so I win this fight with 14 HP left, so our rival will have the Flareon starter. We could get the Jolteon starter by fighting the optional rival, but I'm not going to do that. We start with Scratch, Stun Spore, and Leech Life. Scratch is a 40 base power normal type move with 100% accuracy, so better than Tackle. In Gen 1, it was 95% accurate at 35 base power. In modern games, it's 100% accurate with 50 base power, so modern games, Tackle is better, but back then, it wasn't. Stun Spore is a paralysis inflicting move with 75% accuracy. Leech Life before Gen 7 was 20 base power, but with Stab it is going to be 30 base power, so Scratch will still be our go-to move unless we're fighting a poison type, such as this girl in the Viridian Forest with 2 Nidoran. Leech Life will deal super effective damage and keep our health nice and high. I can say if poison was not weak to bug, this run would have been a lot harder. Just imagine how this will do in Leaf Green. Oh wait, I've already done that. In Yellow, instead of the bug catchers having Weedle, they have Caterpie. So these fights aren't as easy, but with Scratch, it won't be that bad. And besides, we need the experience for Brock, since we're gonna have to take his team down with Scratch and Leech Life. That ain't gonna be fun. After the training in the forest is done, I heal at the center, defeat the Light Years trainer for experience, and then I take on the first gym leader, Brock. On Geodude, the plan is to spam Leech Life and keep my health as high as I can for Onix. 32 HP, not that bad. Okay, now for the Onix. The first thing I do is use Stun Spore to paralyze it, and I use all of my Leech Lives and then spam Scratch. If Onix goes for Bide, I just use Stun Spore to stall time, but now that I think about it, that may not have been a good idea, since I later found out that Paralysis can activate during the Bide turn, and it could cause it to fail, so I should have just set up, but whatever. I defeat Brock with a time of 5 minutes and 6 seconds. Afterwards, I use the center and take on the Route 3 trainers. The trainers here are quite easy, except for one. The Shorts guy. This caused me so much pain in my practice runs. This trainer is the youngster with the Rattata and the Ekans. His Rattata can cause huge damage with Quick Attack, and use Tail Whip to allow not only Quick Attack to do more, but his Ekans to deal 4 times damage with Poison Sting, or Rat me to death. When I was doing these runs, if I lost to him, I would just start the run over. But once I get past him was when the run officially started, and thankfully, this attempt went well, otherwise you wouldn't be seeing this run. After the trainers I defeated, I enter Mount Moon right away. I go straight to the rare candy to pick it up. I also fight most of the wild Pokemon I see, since I need to be level 20 for Misty after using 2 rare candies. But before we can go ahead to Misty, we need to fight Jesse and James, who will get an intro theme now since they can be hard for some Pokemon, like Parasect. They start off with Ekans, which starts with a Leer, as I go for Leech Life to deal over half damage. Then it goes for Poison Sting, and that deals over half of my health, as one more Leech Life takes it out. Next up is the Meowth. However, since the Meowth continues to outspeed me, it gets off too many bites, which is a normal move in this gen, so it gets the same type attack bonus, and thanks to Leer, I get my first reset during the run. On the next attempt, Ekans uses a Poison Sting into a Leer, so I have more health going into Meowth this time, and I'm able to take it out without taking too much damage, and then the final Coughing goes down to a few Leech Lives. I knew this fight would be hard, but dang, that could have easily been way worse. After I get out of Mount Moon, I get the Cerulean City Rare Candy, heal at the center, and I defeat the 2 gym trainers in Misty's gym to get to level 18, so after the Goldeen trainer, I use my 2 rare candies to level 20, which is the lowest level I need for Misty. I know some other runners prefer taking on Rival 2 first, since Rival 2 is harder and Misty's pretty consistent anyway, but I would prefer the experience to make Rival 2 a bit easier. So anyway, let's get into the battle. On Staryu, I start off with using Scratch to take it out in 4 hits. Next up is Starmie. I use Stun Spore to paralyze it so I can outspeed it, and then I use Leech Life for super effective damage, since in Gen 1, Psychic was only weak to bug moves, and since I have a bug move, I use it extensively, and then I walk away with the Cascade badge. Okay, now let's discuss Rival 2. On Spearow, the best scenario is for it to use Leer since it'll badge boost my attack, but if it goes for Peck, it can deal 4 times damage, or if it uses Growl, it'll lower my attacking power for the rest of his team. On the Spearow, I use a Scratch, it uses Peck, so far so good, and then before I use a second Scratch, it uses Growl to lower my attack, which is not good at all going into Sandshrew. I turn 1 use Stun Spore on Sandshrew to paralyze it and outspeed it, and it just keeps using Sand Attack, which I use to my advantage to badge boost my attack stats so Leech Life will deal more damage, and then I can heal more damage. I was worried this strat wouldn't work, but I ended up somehow defeating the Sandshrew with 21 HP remaining. Okay, next up is Rattata. I use my remaining Leech Lives, only get off 1, and then I run out of them so I have to go the rest of the match with Scratch. While praying to the RNG gods I get good luck, I defeat the Rattata and move on to the final Eevee. It decides to use a few Sand Attacks, miss some tackles, miss some growls, and after a long stare down, I land the final Scratch and win the fight on the first try. Holy f***, that was so stressful. With the most stressful fight out of the way, we don't have to worry about anything else hard until the late mid-game, so I use the center to heal up, defeat the Route 24-25 trainers, get the elixir so I can recover my power points when I need to, rescue Bill from his experiments, and go back to Cerulean City where I take on the innocent bystander. Today, his Drowsy was super easy. It can usually disable you or put you to sleep if you can't take it out quickly enough, but since I have a bug move, I can take it out super quickly. Outside of Vermilion City, there is this trainer with 3 Pidgeys that can use Sand Attack, and then there's a junior trainer right after her with Eradicate, which can cause some devastating damage. But today, they were both quite nice to me, and I enter Vermilion City to board the SS Sand. The first thing I do is pick up the TM for Body Slam, which I teach right away to Parasect, and then after doing that, I teach Dig over Stun Spore. Before I take on the rival battle, I use Dig on the Gentleman Candy to get the rare candy he guards, and then I take on Rival 3. Unlike Rival 2, since I have much better moves, everything is a 1 to 2 hit sweep. Although Spearow still outspeeds and it can use a Growl, but today it just uses Peck. And then I get good luck with Sand Attack today, so I win this fight with ease. I get Cut, leave the ship, buy Super Potions and Repels, teach Cut to Charmander, which I got for free on Route 24, and since Dig is on my Parasect, I just go straight to the gym after teaching Charmander Cut, and then I take on Lieutenant Surge. He has just a Raichu and Bad AI in yellow, but since I have Dig, I can just use this move to quickly erase Raichu from existence. With 3 badges obtained in record time for me when doing these practice runs, I get the bike voucher, dig back to Cerulean City and Diglett's Cave, use the center, get the bike, and take on the Route 9 Rock Tunnel Gauntlet of Trainers. Usually the most difficult trainer here are the Rapping Lass and the Pokemaniac with the Cubone and the Slowpoke, but today, Parasect struggled with nobody here. But there is one person who is never a struggle, but can be with Parasect today, and that is the Gambler on Route 8. He is the last trainer guarding me from entering Celadon City. The reason he can be troublesome is that his Pokemon do have Ember, but today, Parasect uses Dig on both of them for the one hit without any Embers. Then, after winning the fight, I hit level 30 where I teach Spore over Scratch. This move is the most OP sleep move in Gen 1, and this will help with all of the upcoming battles and make them much more consistent. We'll talk about it once we get there though, but once I arrive in Celadon City, after picking up the Elixir and Nugget in the underground, I heal at the center to set it as my warp point and go shopping right away. I sell some goodies I have, such as the Nugget I picked up, and I buy some Super Repels, 2 Pokedolls, and then I get 1 fresh water for the Saffron City Guard, and today's Vitamin of the Day is Carbos. Speed is Parasect's worst stat despite it being named Speed, so we need all the speed we can get. I leave the store, get Fly, use the Carbos on Parasect, and then I fly to Lavender Town and fight Rival 4 in Pokemon Tower. On Fearow, due to good AI, it'll just spam Mirror Move, so I use Spore to put it to sleep, and then I use Body Slam for the one hit. That Spore may have been pointless, but whatever. I did run this run last July or August, so I wasn't as good back then. Once the Fearow is gone, the Magnemite goes down to 1 Dig, and then the rest of his team goes down to 2 Body Slams each. It's nice to see how easy the rival is after that heart-stressful battle known as Rival 2 from earlier. Throughout the tower, I use Dig on the mandatory channelers, get the Elixir, the second Elixir, Rare Candy, and then Pokédoll the Marowak, which is allowed in the rule set for Scott's race, as well as my own rules. If you got a problem with it, just put it in the comments and help the algorithm. Then on the top floor, I have to take on Jesse and James yet again. I haven't forgiven these guys for giving me my first reset, so on Meowth I use Body Slam to take it out, and then on Arbok, while I try to use Leech Life on it, it uses Glare to paralyze me, and then once Weezing comes out, it outspeeds me and crits me with Sludge for another reset. Man, how is Team Rocket here the MVPs against me? I do defeat them on the next attempt thanks to not getting paralyzed, but geez, these guys sure are a problem. Once I rescue Mr. Fuji and get the Poke Flute, I fly to Celadon City and enter Cycling Road. I get the Rare Candy, PP up, and enter Fuchsia City, where I go straight to the Safari Zone. Here, I get the Carbos for more speed, the Full Restore, Protein for more attack, Gold Teeth, and Surf. I teach Surf to the free Squirtle I got from Vermilion City, use the vitamins on Parasect, and then I dig out of the Safari Zone back to Celadon City. There are now 3 places I can go to, Erica, Koga, and Silphco, so today I go to Erica's gym. I'm not a high enough level for the Koga or the Rival 5 battles, so I defeat every single trainer in this gym, and once all the trainers are taken down thanks to the power of manhood since they're all women, just kidding, don't cancel me, I take on the gym leader, Erica. Her team isn't fully evolved like it is in Red and Blue, but due to her higher levels, she can be just as difficult. But the hardest Pokemon here was her Tangela, since once I take it out, her Weeping Bell and Gloom are 4 times weak to Bug, so 1 Leech Life takes care of them super easily. Although the Gloom does survive a hit, but what's it gonna do to me? The next place I go to is Silphco. I won't be fighting Rival 5 yet though. I'll be going to the Fighting Dojo first for more levels, and once I'm done with that, I enter Silphco to the 7th floor to get the TM for Swords Dance. This move will be the key item to get a great time, as this move is one of the best stat boosting moves in Gen 1, behind the only one in great Amnesia. I also go to the 10th floor, take out the Scientist and the Rocket Grunt here, and then I get the Carbos and Rare Candy. Parasect can't learn Earthquake, so I just skip that, and then I just dig right out, causing massive property damages. I heal at the Saffron Center to set it as my dig point, so after Rival 5 and Giovanni, I can dig out and battle Sabrina right away without using Fly. But before I think about taking them on, I defeat the mandatory trainers in Koga's gym to get to level 40, which is the level needed to outspeed the first Venonat on Koga's team, so let's get on with it. On the first Venonat, I put it to sleep right away with Spore, and while it is asleep, I use 3 Swords Dances to get my attack stat to 472, and then I begin the sweep. I use Body Slam to take out the 3 Venonat. However, the third Venonat can outspeed and it chooses to go for Toxic, which is the best case scenario. And then on Venomoth, it doesn't do much of anything to me, and 1 Body Slam takes it out. Man, this fight was so hard and routing, mostly due to the fact his Pokemon have Toxic, Sleep Powder, and Psychic, but it's nice to beat him on the first try. I then get Strength, get the Boulder Candy, and surf down to Cinnabar Island and enter the mansion. While in here, I get the final Carbos I'll be picking up, and then I encounter Eradicate. Since Parasect is not a high enough level to not encounter them with a Repel, and since they outspeed me, there is a chance I do not run away and they deal massive damage. But luckily, as I pick up my rare candies in the secret key, I only ended up encountering 2 total, so I dig out back to Saffron City and take on Rival 5. I replaced Growth with Swords Dance. On this fight, I put the Sandslash to sleep, and once I'm at +6 special, I begin the annihilation process with Mega Drain, which I taught via TM over Body Slam. With Growth and Mega Drain, this fight is basically just as easy as Rival 4 was. Funny how our Parasect was a physical attacker and now we're a special attacker, but even though we're mostly using special moves, we still have the physical move Dig to take out Jesse and James on the first try for the first time this entire freaking run, and then Giovanni wasn't a problem either. So let's cause some property damage by digging through the floors of Silphco, get Mimic for later, and take on the 6th gym leader, Sabrina. Her first Abra has super high speed, and I will never go first against it, but Flash is quite bad in terms of accuracy, plus the opponent has a built-in 25% chance of missing status moves. But on turn 1, it just goes for an X defend, so I just put it to sleep. And once I do that, I plan to set up my growths to badge boost my attack and my speed, but I forgot to do that on Abra and I just used Dig on it. On Kadabra, I realized what I did, so once I put it to sleep, I set up my growths, and with Kadabra down with Dig, I'm able to outspeed the Alakazam and take it out for the 1-hit. I dig out of the gym on the teleporter, which makes the animation play faster, just a tiny time save. Heal at the center and fly to Cinnabar Island, and then I take on Blaine. This is the hardest gym leader since Brock, so let's do this. On Ninetales, a turn 1 flamethrower is an immediate reset, but luckily it instead goes for quick attack and I put it to sleep. It only takes 2 growths to outspeed Ninetales, so once I put it back to sleep and use the remaining growths, I can begin the battle. If you also see the Ninetales asleep and it tries to move first, it was most likely going for quick attack. Anyway, I use Dig on the Ninetales for the 1-hit as well as Rapidash. On Arcanine, I end up leveling up to 51, cancelling my badge boost. This was not good. On Arcanine, it goes first and uses Flamethrower, but due to my growths, I survive a 4 times effective Flamethrower, put it back to sleep, and use Dig. But it looks like it's going to be a 2-hit. But since Arcanine stays asleep for long enough, I'm able to take out Arcanine and defeat Blaine on the first try. Being under 40 minutes at this point is a super good time for me. If Jesse and James were nicer to me though, I'd probably be 90 seconds faster than this. In the gym, I take out only the minimum required trainers, which are the cool trainer with the Rhyhorn and the black belt in the back. And then I leave the building and get back in to reset all of the NPC positions. Doing this is faster than using the arrow tiles, which are super slow. And also, if you noticed in my Steve M Plays races on the live streams, you may notice the tiles going fast, but that's just a custom feature in the randomizer, so just ignore that. Anyway, let's take on Giovanni. I start by using Spore on Dugtrio to put it to sleep, and I take it out with 2 Mega Drains. Since the Dugtrio outspeeds me, it could use the 1-hit KO move Fissure, but luckily it doesn't go for that. Next up is Persian. I start by putting it to sleep, and while it is asleep, I set up all of my growths to badge boost all of my stats, and most importantly, my special stat. And once I'm set up, the Persian is a one-hit KO with Mega Drain, the Nidos are a one-hit KO with Dig, and then the final Rhydon is a one-hit with Mega Drain, and I complete the gym challenge with a time of 40 minutes and 5 seconds. I wonder if a sub 50-minute time is possible. It'll be close, but I think it definitely will be. Before we can head to the Elite Four, we need to take on Rival 6. He leads with Sand Slash, which I do outspeed, so I can easily put it to sleep and set up all of my growths. You may also notice I don't have enough Mega Drain for everybody. That's not going to be necessary. Once I get to the Magneton, it is a simple KO with Dig, and then the move Dig is better on Kadabra anyway, as well as the final Flareon. I level up just before it, and you may notice my speed reset to 83, which is 1 speed higher than the Flareon. This was intentional. This was the reason I went out of my way to get so many Carbos. If it weren't for those, I would be outsped by it, and it will use a fire attack. But not today, baby. Okay, heading into the Elite Four through Victory Road, we are making very good time right now. We might be under 40 minutes at this point if it weren't for those 2 resets on Jesse and James. But hopefully we get good enough luck at the league to have those be our only resets. And also, while I'm in Victory Road, I actually skipped the rare candy since we don't need it for the league, and I was able to cut that piece out of the equation. And then once I'm out of Victory Road, I enter the Indigo Plateau, use the center to buy full restores, and I take on the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit. On the Dewgong, it does outspeed me and use Aurora Beam for half damage, but once I put it to sleep and set up some growths to activate the badge boost glitch to raise my speed, I'm able to get it to +6, and once I'm at +6, I will outspeed all of her Pokemon, but on the Jinx I do put it to sleep since it can live a Mega Drain. That time it did live a Mega Drain because it was a crit, and critical hits ignore all stat changes, including good ones. But on the Lapras, I do level up, but I'm still able to outspeed it for the 1-hit. On Bruno, I put his first Onix to sleep and set up my growths for the rest of his team. And then once I'm at +6 like before, his Onix is a 1-hit KO with Mega Drain, along with Hitmonchan, Hitmonlee, his second Onix, and then on his Machamp, it does live a Mega Drain since it does have pretty decent special, but Bruno sucks, so not a big deal. Agatha starts off just like the other league members with using Spore to put the Gengar to sleep and then setting up my growths. However, I don't have anything good for the Golbat since I need Dig for her ghost types and I can't get rid of Mega Drain, Spore, or Growth, so I have to use 5 Mega Drains to take it out, and I was unfortunately not able to find a way around this. I think some of the other racers might have found a solution to this, but I never did. I had the move Mimic taught over Dig since we don't need it anymore, and then on the beginning Gyarados, I do the usual of putting it to sleep with Spore and setting up my growths. And even though I'm at +6, Gyarados still needs 2 hits with Mega Drain, so that's why I put it to sleep since it's part Flying type, so it's neutral to Grass. His next Pokemon is Dragonair. It is also a 2-hit with Mega Drain due to it being resisted, so I just put it to sleep first and then spam Mega Drain. Then on the second Dragonair, I put it to sleep, and instead of using Mega Drain, I mimic Ice Beam, so I can take it and the following Aerodactyl out in 1 hit. However, before the Dragonite, I end up leveling up, and all of my badge boosts are gone, so it will be able to outspeed me, and it goes for Fire Blast. But luckily, due to the growths I set up, and due to the fact it wasn't a crit, I am able to live on half health, and even though I get burned, Ice Beam uses special, so it does not affect the battle at all. Honestly, I almost peed my pants when I saw what happened because that really terrified me. We've got one more battle to do, so let's go face the champion. His Sandslash does outspeed me and uses a critical hit Poison Sting, which isn't good, but luckily it doesn't poison me. I then set up my growths to make sure the Sandslash remains asleep, because if I let my guard down and spam A too long, it could get a move on me. And then once I'm set up with +5, I mimic Earthquake from the Sandslash to knock out the Alakazam quickly, as well as the Exeggutor. Well, I say quickly, but Earthquake's going to do better damage than Mega Drain anyway. Then on Magneton, I use my final growth since I do a mid-battle level up and I can't avoid it. So saving one growth allows me to revive some of my badge boosts, and then I'm able to take out the Magneton. Next comes Cloyster, which goes down to 1 Mega Drain, although it does outspeed me and it could go for Ice Beam to freeze me, but it luckily went for Aurora Beam instead and it didn't crit. Then on his final Flareon, I use 1 Earthquake for the 1 hit, and I have finished the run with a real time of 47 minutes and 22 seconds with 2 resets at level 59 and a game time at the Hall of Fame of 3 hours and 5 minutes. Even though I did not win the Parasect race, this race was still a lot of fun to participate in, and even though this video on Scott's channel took a long time to come out, it was well worth the wait, and I hope you all enjoyed it. Also, if you came over from Scott's Thoughts channel, I'll just take this moment to say I also do solo run content along with a variety of other things, such as going through the Pokemon World Tournament in White version 2 with past Pokemon I've done in solo runs, and also once a week I'm going to be streaming speedruns of various games. Other than that, I try to get out 1 or 2 edited solo runs a week. I do more variety of games than anyone else on YouTube. I do Pokemon Red, Yellow, Crystal, Sapphire, Leaf Green, Emerald, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold, Black, and White version 2. If you also like solo runs and you like the variety, please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and also follow my socials such as my Discord server, or you can support me through YouTube memberships or through Patreon to get exclusive bonus content. Links are in the description. If not, a simple like and a comment is good enough for me. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next race.